the Halo 3 one for the 360. God, I hate it.
I love it.
I hate it so much.
That green, that's like chrome orange disc tray cover. It looks so cool.
The orange, the combo of that orange with the green makes me sick.
It's awesome.
So, unlike me, my cousin kept basically every single console from his childhood. And he actually had the Modern Warfare 2 Xbox 360, and the designs on that are actually like really, really cool. Like it's aesthetically like I think one of the best Xboxes that they've ever made.
I will say I do think the only really awesome looking Halo console would be the Halo Reach Xbox 360 Slim console, where it's just like silver, has some like light lines on it. It says Halo Reach on it, but it's like very minimalist, and that's probably why it looks the best.
At one point, I had the Batman PS4, and I kind of wish I still had it just because it was like kind of a unique design for and like color for the PS4.
I'm gonna post a link in here to. You remember the 360 Model E, the third one, which is actually a good model.
Oh yeah, the one that they made to look like the Xbox One. Yeah,
Yeah,
Look at those colors, blue with baby blue.
that is modern vintage gamer's favorite Xbox 360 revision. If I remember correctly. Yeah, he has that, and it's his main system for 360, and he said he loves it.
Yeah, I have a different cousin who has this one.
Again, 2023, when I had financial hardships, I sold it, but I didn't have the blue on baby blue one. I just had a regular black one. That was my favorite. It was the quietest. It was the coolest. It worked super well. It was just, why did they do blue with baby blue and ship it with Call of Duty? Like Clash.
It's weird.
It was for people who would like that's the only game they wanted to play, and so
Then why would you make it blue?
There was a black version, I know that, but I don't know why.
The default was black. It's just strange, but. Also 500 gigs. 500 gigs back then, that would last you forever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put 500 gigs in my 360. I have two 360s right now. And they both have 500 gig hard drives in them. And I got everything off the store that I could before the store shut down. And it's like 120 different games on each of them, tons of themes, gamer picks, avatar. I got tons of stuff off the store. And I only use like 300 gigabytes of that after like 120 games.
There is a community of people who will max out those drives, but it's not what you're expecting. It's the Rock Band community who are putting custom songs onto their consoles. They can definitely get those really high.
Rock Band will never die.
And they'll put SSDs into their consoles. And when I first was like, because the Xbox 360 only has SATA 1 internally, and so I'm like, why are you putting SSD into like a console with SATA 1? The reason why is because when you're searching for the songs in Rock Band, it's relying on random reads on the drive, which are way faster on an SSD, even if it's SATA 1. So that's like basically the only reason why you should ever put an SSD in a 360 versus a hard drive.
I put an SSD in my PS3. I know I don't remember if it has SATA 1 or SATA 2, but it's not that much
SATA
faster.
1. Yep.
Yeah, but the main reason I did is because I had one laying around. And also, like, it is safer. Like, if you drop your system, a hard drive will be done, you know?
Yeah, by today's standards, for sure. There's no reason to, like, even bother with the hard drive.
Listen, the whole reason I have a demon-possessed Xbox is because I wanted to have an emulator to play Castlevania Rondo of Blood on my TV. And that's the whole reason I went through this whole mess, and it has a 2 terabyte SSD. So my old Xbox has more built-in storage than my Series X in the other room.
Well, I do want to do a little bit of show and tell. I did just get an original Xbox yesterday, and this thing is clean. I got it from the game store, $130, and it's a 2005 model, so clock capacitor wasn't an issue, but they cleaned it like crazy. This looks like a 2-year-old system. There's no scratches on it or anything. And what's really fun is I loaded up Fable, the original Fable, not TLC, which is a really interesting game to play. And I noticed there's an account called These Nuts with 8 hours of playtime on it. And I'm like, whoa, they didn't wipe the hard drive. So I went, and there's 60 games with save files on there. Some games having multiple save files on it. And I'm like, this is really cool. I love when
I love when you get like a PS2 memory card or something, and it's got like some of these old saves on it. It's just like, oh, like, and they're like from like 2003. Like there'll be like dates on them. It's like, oh man, like blast from the past.
Can you send me a picture of these nuts and just send that to me, because I need to have that.
Yeah, I haven't even looked at. I didn't even load up his profile yet. I don't know what he's like. He's in like Bowerstone jail, but I don't know what he's done in the game. But it's interesting.
And I did see the picture you showed on the Discord. You tagged me, and it came with the controller S, right?
Yeah, and it's an official one, so that's kind of cool.
Would you believe me if I told you I have 8 of these?
Hey, I need some.
I love these. I have one that I purchased a couple months ago from a game store in Pennsylvania. It was new in its original clamshell packaging. And I spent more on it than I probably care to admit. But I needed to have it. I got it. It was great. It fell, cracked, and now it's broken.
Oh my god.
No.
Basically, this part here, like some of the case here where you like screw them in together, it's a little chipped. Who cares? Whatever. The problem is there's now random directional inputs. So when I'm playing Unreal Championship, my dude just runs in a separate direction and then stops. Or you play a driving game, you're going and they just start going left. Or you play Fable and you're just not moving and then he just goes by himself and then stops. So maybe I could clean it, but if I can't fix it, I'm going to take this one. Well, the motherboard's not broken. It just replaced the shell and the buttons with the new one.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna. I should not be Frankensteining any more Xbox stuff, but I have not learned my lesson. I'm gonna Frankenstein my controllers.
I think it's okay. I mean, it's just a controller.
Yeah.
I don't care what anyone says. I love the Duke, and I will die on this hill that this controller is great. Yes, it's big. It blocks out the sun. It blocks out the camera, but it's great. I love it.
It's not so bad once you actually become like a full-on adult with like man hands, Okay. It's like a lot more comfortable.
That's true. When you're like a kid trying to play the original Xbox, like controllers like that.
I tell people this. It's weird. Yes, it's weird. Actually, Fob, do you know the story why this is weird? Like why it's shaped how it is?
No, not really.
So Microsoft, when they were designing Xbox for the first time, they were going to, I don't remember who it was a plant in Japan, and there was a lot of like bias against them because they were American, right? So they worked with Sony, they worked with Nintendo, and then Microsoft, they were like, we don't really want to work with you. And I guess Microsoft didn't know what they were doing, or there's some issue with the plant, so they ended up printing the circuit boards first, and they were huge. So usually you design the shell and then you build the innards. They did it backwards. So then when they hired the person, I forget her name, this woman designed the Duke controller. She was looking at this motherboard like, what the fuck is this? And then she had no choice but to make this.
Yeah.
Now, as odd as it is, the joysticks are different, like different shapes. They're comfy. The D-pad looks weird. It looks like melted plastic. It works. I actually like.
Well, actually, the D-pad kind of looks like they eventually did the transforming D-pad on like the Elite controllers. It kind of looks like that a little bit.
Kind of. I like the diamond layout. I like that all the buttons are really close. Mm-hmm. People make fun of the black and white. Look, it's all in the like the movement of your thumb. It works.
That is true. On the original Xbox, it would be like the black and white like buttons were like down here, and
which
so
is
like
infinitely
you'd
more
have to
awkward.
like move like your thumbstick is here, so you have to like move around the thumbstick, and it's like if it's up top, then that's actually like easier
in one
to hit.
sweep. You get everything in one sweep.
That's true.
It looks weird, but it works really well.
Yeah, the Duke controller like gets a lot of flack that it doesn't deserve. Like specifically the face buttons are so much better than the redesigned S.
Yeah.
I used to say for the longest time the 360 is my favorite controller because it's so comfortable. As I've become, a full-on adult, it's a little small at this point. But so like the Xbox original S now is probably like the perfect size in my opinion. I just hate the face buttons compared to the Duke, but it's good enough.
Although I will say, I do need some wireless options because, like, right now, I can't really move the camera, but I have a CRT there. And the problem is I don't have a place to put the Xbox except on top of the CRT. And then the cable would droop in front of the image. So, like, right now, I need a wireless and you can get adapters and whatnot. I actually bought from Retro Fighters. Fob, I showed this to you, I think, last time. This is from Retro Fighters. It's called the Hunter.
Yeah.
It's just your standard modern day controller. It gives you the black and white buttons here if you want it, but it also gives you like modern day bumpers. So this is white and that's black. So this is my go-to now. But if I plug in an official Microsoft, I go for the Duke like every time. But I actually can't show you this. I need to find it though. This is a Japanese controller S. It is in like this super awesome like sparkle gray.
Yeah.
I know the lights probably.
Might
be able to see.
It looks way more gray now than it did in the picture you sent.
Yeah,
like substantially more gray.
It's really gray. The buttons are the same colors, but a lot darker. They actually have like engraved like ABXY. This is the Japanese style.
That's cool.
So if I do use an S, this is my main one. And even though it's from Japan, it's actually in really good shape, probably because whoever had it probably never played it. So it's in great shape.
Japanese were notorious for not liking the original Xbox. And it got a little bit better with 360 when Xbox really went into working with Mistwalker on Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon, and that kind of helped a little bit, but they still never got the Japanese market.
Yeah, I think the Japanese market has always liked Sony. Like, there's always been like, you know,
Nintendo.
You are correct. There were a lot of like more Japanese style games that were on 360 and not on other consoles. Like I think like 99 Nights and all these other like random like kind of more Japanese oriented games.
Microsoft basically Microsoft of America let Japan run the 360 however they wanted to. So you saw, besides Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, you saw lots of games. Games you would see on Steam and things now, like overly sexualized JRPGs and hentai stuff that we kind of see now, and like you're not shocked when you see it on Steam today, right?
Yeah.
But it was on Japan at 360 in like 2006. And I think that helped a little bit. And then Microsoft of America's like, we're not allowing this on our stuff, sorry. And then it just dipped. I saw one article where the PlayStation 1 outsold the 360 for like this 1 month.
That's hilarious.
And it's like, wow. By the way, real quick, speaking of Dukes and show and tell, this is the Hyperkin Duke.
I love it.
This is the recreation they made. Broken. I have the worst goddamn luck. Broke.
Happens.
And then I have a second one, which was good, but then I think I lost it during the moves, because I moved from here to a town, and then I moved back, and I think in the process, I think I just lost it, so that sucks. Did you know that Hyperkin, I think it is, they also do a controller S, new version of the S, and the 360.
Yeah, the 360 one's got a lot of flack though because they weren't wireless, and it made a lot of people upset that it was a wired controller for the 360.
I haven't used a lot of the Hyperkin controllers, but I know the Hyperkin made the Retro N3, like the Retron 3 and 5, and Retron 5, I think it was like limited development of it, or like production of it. And it had some really, really cool features of it, like being able to pull the ROMs like off the cartridges and stuff like that. So the Hyperkin definitely makes some cool stuff for sure.
Yeah.
Their controllers are like crazy though.
Speaking of ROM, something I've been getting to a lot is getting every single one of my 360 games dumped onto my PC. So I have about 160 games for 360, both physically, digitally, and it's super easy to do. So basically you need a flash drive that's at least like 16 gigabytes, but it can be up to like 128 or something, maybe. I don't remember for sure. Maybe even 512. But you plug that in and you dump the game onto that flash drive. You unplug it. You download Xenia Manager on your PC. Because Xenia is the 360 emulator now, but for the longest time it was really just a huge headache to use. It was basically
it's still a huge headache to use.
But earlier this year, or technically last year they released Xenia Manager, which is a separate company or a separate group of people that made it.
Yeah.
And it's a front-facing system for Xenia, and it installs Xenia for you. It keeps it updated. It gets all the pictures of the games for you. It makes it really easy to dump them. So now, basically, you click Add Game, and once you've moved these games to your PC, you basically just load the file that you downloaded from your Xbox 360 onto Xenia Manager, and it works. And it's so easy now. And so I have this like huge page on Xenia Manager of like all these games. Now, not everything worked. Like apparently my Civilization Revolution game doesn't work, so I couldn't get the file for it dumped.
Good game.
Yeah, it actually is. And then there's another like Cars.
What a shame.
One of the Cars games didn't work. Like one of the really bad ones. Like,
what do you mean it can't play open season?
It's Smelly It. What are you doing, Smelly It? Acting smelly?
yeah. And I had problems with Minecraft Story Mode because I don't have the complete edition. I have the season pass disc, which means I can't get the game anymore, by the way. It's a worthless disc, unfortunately. Yeah. So you have to buy the complete, the complete version in order to actually have everything on the disc. So I couldn't actually get that either, unfortunately. But in downloading 360 ROMs online, even if I like I was trying to get like a legal copy of a game I owned, and even that, like it's really sketchy downloading 360 ROMs, and so because they're so big, and you're like, "What am I downloading?"
Yeah.
And so,
it's interesting that you did that because we now have the Xenon Recomp project, which is the thing that kind of spawned why we wanted to have this conversation in the first place. So, in the news, I think last week it was the Sonic Unleashed has been fully ported to the PC. And so what's going on with that is basically there was a project called Xenon Recomp, which does a large majority of taking an Xbox 360 ROM and converting it to basically code that like a PC can natively read and execute. And it's not perfect, and it still requires a lot of work per game. But Sonic Unleashed is one of those games where like there's a lot of love for it nowadays. Not a lot at launch, but there's a lot of love for it nowadays. So a team of people basically ran the Xenon Recomp, and then they built the front end, the graphics engine and all that stuff, and they're able to fully get it working. And then they're able to add like unlocked frame rates, unlocked resolutions, all that kind of stuff. Fun times. And so now that Project Xenon Recomp is kind of available now for developers to use, we were talking a lot about like games that like we would love to see native PC ports of. So we were talking a little bit. I have my own list here. Do you mind if I go through it here?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you go first.
So the Gears trilogy. I love Gears of War 1, 2, and 3. I have not played them since my childhood. I did not play Gears of War like they did a re-release of the first Gears of War. I think they called it Ultimate Edition. I have not played that, but I would love to play a like 2 and 3 for sure. Like the reason why I didn't pick up 1 is because I'm like, I want to play 2 and 3 when I do. And I've been waiting for Microsoft to, I'm like, please, like what you did for MCC, please do it for Gears, please. Like everybody's been begging them to do it, and they just haven't done it yet. There might be some technical reasons as to why. I mean, MCC, like it took years and years to even get that into a functional state. And I understand the hardships that the team faced with Master Chief Collection for sure. But I would love, I mean, at least if, it won't be like a fully like, HD remaster or anything, but just to be able to play the old Gears trilogy again would mean the world to me.
I do have some fun. I have a couple inputs on this. First off, Ultimate Edition of Gears 1 is really good. It has a bonus mission in it that was only on the PC version of Gears of War 1, not on the 360 version.
Yeah.
But the mission kind of sucks. Like it's the worst
really?
mission in the game. Yeah. So I kind of wish they left that out actually, or just made it like an optional thing. Like in the menu, you could play this bonus mission, whatever. But Gears Trilogy Collection is one of the worst kept secrets that Xbox has right now. That is in development.
Yeah. But I think it's been in development hell.
Yeah, it was just leaked that they're not doing the multiplayer on it, which I'm fine with, whatever.
That's a big deal actually, because people still play the Ultimate Edition multiplayer, and it's still got a dedicated community around it.
I think you could probably pick one of them. Like probably Gears 3 is probably the best multiplayer of Gears games. You could probably just do one of them, and people wouldn't care if like Gears 1 or Gears 2 didn't have it. Or maybe you could like export the maps to Gears 3. You could do something like that. But
if they can't do multiplayer, at least keep the horde and like co-op modes in
Yeah.
there. At least you should be able to get your buddies together and play Gears.
I did play I played through the Gears franchise. Okay, I played through the Gears trilogy because I'm not playing past that because 4 and 5 are so boring, and I've never played the one focused on Baird. I forget the name of it.
Judgment,
but
I think, right?
Yeah,
Is it Judgment? That's so generic.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the games hold up so well. And I didn't do
Yeah.
multiplayer, but I did do Horde with my cousin on not Halo 3, Gears 3, and it is really good.
Yeah.
So I would like to see Horde. I had not even conceived that.
There was
in my
horde mode, I
list.
think, and then there's also something called, I think it was called beast mode or something, where you like
Yeah.
play as the locust, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So it's kind of basically like they like flip the standards on you, which is really cool. But yeah, Gears Trilogy for sure I'd love to see. Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie. Now you might be like, Fob, why are you bringing this up? Because there was it's been decompiled, the N64 version. The reason why I bring it up is because the HD ports on like Xbox Live Arcade, they have full like twin stick support. They're HD. They look really nice. They play really nice. They even emulate perfectly.
And they have stop and swap.
Yes, they have fully working stop and swap. The only issue with with those ports is that they remove all the Nintendo references.
Yeah.
So like there'd be like N64 logos in the game and stuff like that, and they removed those. So that's the only downside of them.
Yeah.
But other than that, like they're basically perfect ports.
You don't
So
want
I would-
nuts and bolts?
Maybe. I've never played it, but I know people are starting to like warm up to it now.
It's
They didn't like it at
fine.
launch, but
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I never understood this idea of like I don't like this game because it's not like the rest of the series. Like Star Fox Adventures is one of the best games on GameCube, and
Yes.
anyone who clowns on it because it's a Zelda game is cringe. But
You fucking like Zelda, right? Shut the fuck up.
it's really good.
yeah.
And I can't believe people don't like it. But this idea, like something has to be the same as the rest of the series for it to be considered good, is ridiculous to me. But I've never played Nuts and Bolts. I have friends who grew up on it, and they say it's like one of their childhood game, like one of their like top 5 childhood games, and they were in love with it.
I heard it was a really good like game where you could like build your car with like different parts and stuff, and I heard it was actually like really well done. It was just such a like
Departure.
fork in the road from like what the first two were.
Yeah.
That like it was just out of place.
Now I don't know if there's performance issues and people hate it because that's a fair reason to not like a game, but I just don't know. 360 had its fair share of games that had performance issues, like that
No.
Sonic Racing game had a terrible performance at one point.
Continuing on my list though, there's a game called Far Cry Instincts Predator. Are you guys familiar with Far Cry Instincts by chance or no?
Yeah.
I played the
So-
Wii version.
So for those who are not aware, it was a game originally on the original Xbox, and Far Cry obviously needs no introduction, and the original Far Cry is an open world game. They could not, due to the technical limitations of the Xbox, I believe they weren't able to do an open world game. So they did a linear style game for the port. But then they added these like feral abilities in the game. They add like a completely different subplot to the game where you get injected with like some whatever chemical that gives you these like really cool feral abilities where you can like leap across the map and all. It was just a ton of fun. And so
Crisis before Crisis came out.
yeah, and the closest thing I can think of is Dying Light 2, Stay Human, has a lot of those kind of, I think, features in the game where you're like, I think you're basically fighting the infection, but then you get some of those abilities. I think that's how the mechanics of Dying Light 2 work. I haven't played Dying Light 2, though. I've only played the first one. But yeah, like, it's a really interesting idea. Then they did a sequel specifically to that game, even though it was a port, like a linear port of Far Cry 1. They called it Evolution. And so Evolution released on the original Xbox and the 360 the same day, and the 360 version has an HD version of Instincts, and they call it Predator, where it's like both the games like on one disc. I would love to play that game again. I would love to do it because just to have fun at it. It does not emulate well at all. It basically is like unplayable in emulation. So I'd love to give it a shot. If somebody would be down to, use Xenon Recomp and create a port of it, I would, or like a native PC port, I'd love to play it. Continuing on my list though, Project Gotham Racing 3 and 4. Everybody loves the original Project Gotham Racing on the original Xbox. And there are fans of the series. I'm sure they'd love to play 3 and 4. I haven't really played the series though, so I can't say too much on it. Perfect Dark Zero. I think people really like that one, even though I think if I remember correctly, there wasn't a lot of faith in it when because Microsoft bought up Rare, I think. So like there wasn't a lot of faith that they would do a decent one. And then I think when it released, people were like, "Oh wow, this is actually better than I thought." And
that was my go-to game for the first 6 months. Well, until Oblivion came out, but.
And so the last thing I have is probably something you guys are not expecting. I would love to somehow play Kinect games natively on my PC, like just through my webcam or something. It'd probably take so much work to develop. But if I could play DBZ Kinect on my monitor and do the Kamehameha or whatever, I'd love to give that a shot. There was a game
from Double Fine. Was that just called Kinect Party or something? It was like a free download.
Well, they made a game called Stacking. Is that a Kinect game? It's like these those Russian dolls that go inside each other. I forget the name of.
I know the free one that came with the Kinect was, I think, Kinect Adventures.
Yeah, there's Kinect Adventures and Kinectimals.
No, not on launch. Kinectimals was not. No.
A little fun fact though: you can hook up an Xbox One Kinect to your PC natively, and people use it to either create very basic animations of themselves. They move and it tracks their body and they create simple animations with it, or they use it for their VTubers. It's yeah. And it just works really easily. I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Real quick, if you want to hear something funny. So my mom is into paranormal investigations.
I love paranormal investigations.
Whatever floats a boat. No judgment. Whatever floats a boat.
I don't believe in it. I just think it's cool.
I personally don't. But you know what? She's retired. She can do whatever the fuck she wants to do. Good on her. She's not stuck home, She has a Windows 8 tablet that cannot connect to the internet because it will just immediately update and break everything. She has the old Kinect 360 with a 3D printed holster with a battery with a USB adapter that plugs into this Windows 8 tablet. So when she goes to do these paranormal investigations, she has a tablet with this handheld thing and a 360 Kinect. And she would always ask me questions about it. And she said, "Why doesn't do this?" I'm like, "Mom, you realize this camera's from 2011 for a game system, right?"
That's like those people who would record on the PS2 iToy, they're and use that as their webcam. Oh, that's like that kind of energy,
dude. I actually have it's in my drawer somewhere, but I have a device and I forget the name of it, but it allows me to play Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance games on my PC. It's this big, and you just plug games in. You can dump games, you can transfer save files, all that really easy. It was pretty cheap, it was $50. It allows you to also create Game Boy games and dump them onto cartridges.
That's
or flash them onto them. So that's really cool. Yeah, there's an application for making Game Boy games, which I haven't really looked into. I kind of looked at it a little bit, but one really wacky thing they did is they allowed you to put the Game Boy camera thing in it, and you can use that as a webcam on your computer.
Oh my god!
Did it even have color on it?
No.
Well, I know the new camera setup for episode 3.
It's so bad.
Yeah, I bust out my PS2 iToy or whatever, and you bust out the Game Boy camera, and let's do it.
Have y'all ever seen that super viral video? That guy who made the basketball goal where he can't miss, where the basketball goal moves on the wall. He did all that tracking with Xbox One Kinects.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't use special cameras outside of the Kinects. He said, "This does exactly what we need. We just need 4 of them."
Is there any way to get a Kinect or multiple cameras hooked up to a modern PC to play games non-Kinect games with those cameras? Is there a way to do that?
I don't know.
I'd be surprised.
That would be hysterical if one day you could play Black Ops by pretending to walk and just aiming like that. It would be the stupidest thing, but somebody would That would totally be a YouTube video. Like I won Fortnite using Connect only. Like
The best Connect game though is Connect Fruit Ninja. It's
Oh
really
yeah,
good.
I did have that. I did, or
got
I think
part of
either I had it or I used to play the demo of it, and like yeah.
It never had a physical release, and so the only way you could get it physically was with the download code by buying Connect Gunslinger, I think it was called. Otherwise, you had to just buy it from the 360 store.
Was there a Connect Angry Birds too? Did they just like port every mobile game
Well,
to like Connect?
It wasn't Connect, but there are two Angry Bird game on the 360 and the Wii U as well. And it's Connect Birds Trilogy and Connect Birds Star Wars. So Star Wars is just Star Wars. It doesn't include
Yeah,
Angry Birds Space, which I was really sad about. And Angry Birds Trilogy is Angry Birds 1. What's the other one? Angry Birds. I don't know the name of it. Big. I don't know. It's like some generic one. And then Angry Birds Rio. You know that like Blue Bird movie?
the movie.
Yeah.
Oh no, the one with Jesse Eisenberg. Oh
Yeah,
no.
and apparently that's like the best Angry Birds according to fans. But I haven't played it, to be fair.
They should bring back Angry Birds and just give it a really aggressive title for no reason, like Angry Birds: The Revenge.
They did.
I mean, that's
rename-
kind of the movie, aren't they? Like really, like they went really hard on the angry designs in the Angry Birds
Really?
movie. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So
And I think I heard like the second or third movie is like actually like really funny because it's like insanely crude. I don't know if this is true though. I need to confirm it, but I heard it's like a sleeper hit, low-key.
the first one was okay. I didn't watch the second one. The third one's in development right now. And here's a little fun fact about them is that they took down Angry Birds 1 because Angry Birds 2 has like really aggressive microtransactions. And then Angry Birds 1 was re-released, but it's called like Red's Big Adventure or something like
Yes.
that. So it wouldn't get found as easily. So that's really interesting. You
So
have
do-
anything else, Bob?
Do you guys? I'm pretty much good with my list because a lot of stuff from Xbox have kind of been over the years been solely releasing on PC. But do you guys have anything specific that? I mean, we mentioned a bunch of goofy stuff, but
I have a few, but Zach, if you have a list, you can go.
Yeah, so the most obvious one for me first would be the Angry Birds games. No. Fable 2, because the Fable 1 and 3 were on PC. I know Fable 3 was required like the Windows Live stuff, so I don't know if it was actually that good, but like Fable 2 would be really hard to do though because there's such an integrated multiplayer element to it. Where like when you're walking around the environment, you just see like orbs of other players walking around as
yeah,
well.
I remember that. Yeah.
But that would definitely be like my top pick. Other ones like Blue Dragon is one of my favorite games. The voice acting is bad. The gameplay is a little clunky. They fixed all this stuff with Lost Odyssey, but there's something really special about Blue Dragon. And the third act gets wild, like most RPG or JRPGs. But that definitely be one. And then probably like the SSX game
That wasn't on
from
PC,
like
right?
2012. No, because they basically re-released and rebranded SSX completely. They got rid of like all of like the wackiness to it, which it's
it
a
was
very bland game, and they like made it much more serious. And you had to get like equipment to go down like cold mountains and stuff. I didn't really care for that part, but it had a really cool feature in that they had these orbs you could place in the environment. And if you place it somewhere, other players could pick it up in the world as they go through. But the longer it goes without getting picked up, the bigger the reward that the player who collects it get and the player who placed it. And so you get these orbs in like these really crazy places that you're like that you're trying like several times trying to get. And it's like a really cool like multiplayer element to it where it's like almost like a community thing. And I would love for that to actually work. I don't think people would use it anymore, but because that requires like servers and everything. But that was definitely like one of the most fun things from that game.
So Kev, your list?
Yeah, so it turns out two of the games, I have a couple tabs here. So the first one I was going to say was an arcade game called Hydro Thunder Hurricane.
I played it.
Turns out it's on PC and it's on the Windows Store right now. So
Oh, nice.
never mind.
That's crazy.
Never mind. Don't worry about that. I was going to say Viva Pinata, but it was also on Windows. The sequel was not. So Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise, I would like to be able to play. because Viva Pinata is just oddly relaxing. It's not complicated. It's just kind of fun and silly and goofy. And the sequel, just more stuff. So that would be nice to play that one.
One thing I will know about Viva Pinata is I love the art direction because it feels like it'd be a 90s game.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It actually holds up amazingly well today if you play it now. Although I will say, if you play Viva Pinata on the Series X, it runs native 4K.
Yeah, that's where I played it recently.
Looks stunning. Yeah, it looks really good. This one's going to be a little odd. Another arcade game, Daytona USA.
That's a great game. That's not
Yeah,
odd.
I haven't played it.
There is a PC version, but from 1994. So we're talking. It's designed for like early. It probably works on Windows 95, but it was probably made for what, DOS back then, or Windows 3. You know.
Yeah.
So to be able to have a modern kind of HD version recompiled would be great because Daytona is awesome. Full Auto. Does anyone remember Full Auto?
I know of them, but I've never played them.
It was a game published by Sega. Best way to describe it, imagine Burnout with guns. All the cars just had guns and weapons, but it's Burnout. You're trying to win a race, you're trying to be first, and you can shoot people. Great. It's madness. It's not a super well-made game. So just have a beer. Don't take it seriously. Just have fun. Embrace the goofiness. It's a lot of fun. There's also a sequel for the PS3, and I mean, I'll just emulate the PS3 sequel. I had this tab open, but I don't... Oh, that was for Fable 2, but you already hit that. The last one, Call of Duty 3. Because Call of Duty 3, PC? It's not on PC.
Really?
It is the only one. Well, there's like Call of Duty Finest Hour, Big Red one, but those are like kind of side games.
Yeah.
Call of Duty 3 is the only mainline game not on Windows. It's on PS2, PS3, 360, Wii, Xbox, no Windows.
Wow.
That's really interesting.
I thought it was a really good single-player game. Bad performance, as Zach alluded to earlier. So recompiling it on PC would be nice to play the campaign.
Yeah.
What made the multiplayer fun was, I don't know if either of you ever played, like, you know, the older Battlefield games, like 1942, Battlefield 2, Wolfenstein Enemy Territory.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first Call of Duty as well, but like those were class-based multiplayer shooters, right? The medic had like these guns you could pick. You could be a soldier, you could use anything. That was Call of Duty 3. It followed that system.
Really?
Call of Duty 3 had a medic. We had limited guns, but you had special abilities. You could have an engineer, you could have a soldier, you could have support.
That sounds so cool.
It was actually my favorite Call of Duty multiplayer game. Like, to this day, probably still is. Now, it's on 360, or God forbid you got the PS3 version. So, like, the performance is awful. But if you could play it now, it was so cool.
Yeah.
Because I love those class-based games, because that's, like, my childhood. And then that was the last one, because 4 came out, and that's when we switched to loadouts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Loadouts and perks, and it's been basically that way since. So it would just be neat to be able to play Call of Duty 3 without needing... I don't even have a 360 right now, so I would need to play the god-awful PS3 version. Like,
I'd be just interested in taking a look just out of sheer curiosity of like what is this, like, you know, Infinity Ward or whatever, like Activision made this like
actually
like
that
Battlefield style game.
Call of Duty 3 was the first one made by Treyarch.
Oh, okay.
Because it was Infinity Ward, then they took a year to focus, an extra year to focus on Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
So this was the first time Treyarch came into the picture. Also, it's funny because my friend bought it for the Wii. So playing it on the Wii, I'm like, you're telling me this is on Wii and not Windows? But yeah, it's not on Windows.
Yeah,
so
I'll definitely keep my eye out for something like that if that ever drops. I'd love to give that a shot.
I'm trying to think, because in every other, like a lot of the other games, like Crackdown 1 is not on PC, but Crackdown 3 is.
What about Crackdown 2?
Sucks.
Because that's like the people's like game of the year. For
Zach, what was that you said?
Crackdown 3 sucks. It's like
it's
one of the worst games ever made.
I can't tell if I hate it or if it's just boring.
It is just really boring.
But I still love the first one, and to me they seem like the same thing. But the first one's fun.
The 3 had a major issue where they were depending so heavily on this like cloud architecture to
Yeah, I
handle
remember that.
all of the city destruction, and that kind of fell through, which caused all kinds of problems and late stage development changes and stuff. So it kind of makes sense why it failed because they couldn't get the tech where it's supposed to be. But yeah, it's pretty rough. Crackdown 1 is my favorite. Crackdown 2 is like where there's like zombies and you have to like
Yeah.
clear regions to get that safe from zombies and stuff. And
Yeah.
so
360 had a lot of those like destruction based games like Just Cause and
Yeah.
you know Crackdown and all those kind of games, and we kind of lost those at this point, but yeah.
yeah.
What about remember Jet Set Radio? They had like a 360 port, and it also came out on PC, but I think the PC port wasn't good or something, right? Do you guys remember that?
Never played that version.
I've never played the PC version. I know that the original Xbox got Jet Set Radio Future, which is one of the best games on the console.
Yes.
Then Jet Set Radio was on
The first one,
was
yep.
ported to the 360.
Yeah.
As like their indie titles or their arcade name, something like that. But I've never played the original like Jet Set Radio.
If I remember correctly, I think they pulled it from the Steam store.
I only played the original on the Dreamcast. I never played any of the other ports of it.
Yeah,
Actually-
they pulled it from the Steam store, so you can't even buy it anymore.
I think I actually have it on Steam.
It's a lost game.
No, when a game gets pulled from Steam, yeah, you still keep it in your
Yeah.
library because
I'm trying to see.
Gaben is
I think-
based.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gaben.
Dude, I like Valve is such an amazing company. Just the sheer amount of stuff they do like that. Like there is no other company in the world
I
that would
do
do
have Jet
anything
Set
like
Radio.
that. That's so cool.
Dude, I have Duke Nukem 3D.
I have some games that are pulled from the store. Like Sega used to like port their. I guess going back to Sonic for a second, they used to have like ports of like Sonic. Like Sonic 3 and Knuckles and stuff just available on Steam that you could buy for $2. They pulled all
Each
of
game
those.
individually. They pulled them because now they have Sonic Origins, which is kind of like the definitive re-release of the old games, and in some ways they are better, but
Yeah.
they kind of introduce some of their own weird little issues.
Yeah.
So to prevent you from buying the $2 game, they took all of them down.
Yeah. I do want to mention 2 more games, and then I'm done with this discussion.
Yeah.
Or I'm done with adding to the games to this list. Stuntman Ignition is a really cool game, and we've
about
got
that.
like quite a few games like this. Like on the original Xbox, there was Chase Hollywood Stunt Driver, and there was the original Stuntman on PS2. Stuntman Ignition is technically a sequel, and it's almost like a driving puzzle game. A driving puzzle action game. So you have these challenges by a director where you have to like drive through a movie scene. You have to execute certain moves at certain spots in order to make that part of
That sounds so cool.
Yeah, like if you fail 5 times, you fail the scene, and you're supposed to like keep your combo up by like drifting and stuff between these things, or like getting close to cars. You know, kind of like Burnout. And your goal is to string your combo all the way to the end while getting all of these like action set pieces as you can, and some of them are simple, like it's like drive close to this car, do stop right here and then reverse. But there's like some crazy ones where you have to like jump into a helicopter. You have to it's like really cool.
Like go off a ramp and stuff. Yeah.
And so it has like 6 movies. So the way it works is there's like 6 movies, and each of those has 6 scenes you have to do, and each movie is also like a giant level where each scene is like a different part of that level technically.
Yeah.
But and they put like different vehicles there and different challenges and stuff. But and you drive like different vehicles as well. But it's a really unique game, and if you know what you're doing, you can get 5 stars on everything in like an hour and a half. But for people who haven't played it before, if you want to get 5 stars on everything, it'd probably take you like 6 hours from retrying and stuff. But it's a really rewarding game, and that's why I say it's like a puzzle game, because you have to like figure out how to connect all these action set pieces together. If you don't string everything, you can beat the level by just not failing.
So
5
there's
action
like
set
the
pieces.
perfect run that you like try to chase where you hit like every action set piece. That's so cool.
Yeah, and once you finish all 6 movie scenes for a movie, it plays a trailer of the movie, and it takes
Oh, cool.
it takes videos of your replays to snip in there when it's appropriate, but like it's like really corny stuff. The voice actor of Piccolo is like your stunt coordinator who tells you how to like who gives you hints on the level like before you start and stuff. It's really fun. And then there's one, and I cannot remember the name, arcade indie title, shooter, space shooter, 4 players.
Aegis Wing.
Aegis Wing, yes.
Gotcha.
I think I've played that before, actually.
It was free to play.
Free to play, made by like 3 people, who then gave it to Xbox, and Xbox just dumped it onto the 360 store. And it's really fun. It's a really good space shooter. And it's really hard to beat, but if you do beat it, it takes like an hour. But it's really well done. I can't believe it was free. Like that's like a $5 game.
I know. I actually have one more to add, and then we're good. Since we mentioned Burnout Revenge is not on Windows.
Really?
Burnout Paradise, eventually they did like the remaster re-release. That I think is on Windows, but that one's like the open world Burnout. We have to like drive event to event, place to place.
Yeah.
Burnout Revenge was the last one where it's just, what do you want to do? Pick, go, crash the car.
Yeah.
No driving, no extra nonsense. Just do what you want.
Burnout Paradise was released on Windows and all its DLC, and it was delisted, and then the remaster was uploaded to Steam.
And
but
people didn't like the remaster, I think, right?
It was okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't look much better. Like I don't know, it didn't look like a remaster, but I think it's just a higher resolution basically. But it's fine. It's a decent remaster. It's fine.
Especially nowadays, like studios can just AI upscale the texture and just call it a day.
Yeah.
And it is like a cheap game, to be fair, so it's not like the worst thing.
I do think Revenge is just a better game, at least for me.
Yes. And the 360 version is like so much better than the other versions of Burnout Revenge as well. Like the 360 version is the version you want. It also plays on Series X, and that's really good as well. Runs 4K, 60, just fine, no issues. But yeah, that's a good one to get a comp of.
Because Burnout Revenge was on the PS2, the original Xbox, or the 360. So clearly, you want the 360 version. Like clearly,
the 360 version also came with a bunch of extra cars too.
It came with a 360 themed car that was like white and green.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
It came with like Plantronics, like the old Bluetooth headset company.
And there was a lot of downloadable cars you could get as well that weren't available on the other systems either, obviously. Yeah.
I'm not sure why like the 360 had that really like unique look with the white and green console when it came out, and then they like moved by the end of the life cycle of the console, they moved away from it in terms of
black.
like the all black for the Xbox One, and then like moving forward. They should like go back to that design. I think it just looks like cooler, I think.
Yeah. So I've been collecting Xbox 360 demo discs. And what's really fun about these is you put them in the Xbox and it opens up a menu and it's inspired by the Blades dashboard.
Oh my God.
It's really cool because you like go to a game or you go like scroll down to like demos, you go right and like the blade swipes sideways and then you pick your game and you slide right and you can pick if you want to watch the trailer or the demo or stuff. Anyways, I'm kind of repeating this. I don't remember the exact tiers, but they're like really cool. And it is kind of interesting. Like, it's different demos than what was on the 360 marketplace. Like, I know there's 100% at this point because the Blue Dragon demo is different than the one on the marketplace from the disc, because one of them takes place in a dungeon where you have like an hour to beat it, or else the main character, Kluk, her neck, she has like a collar on that explodes and kills her and stuff. So you have to redo the dungeon. Anyways, and the timer for the hour timer is the timer to finish the demo. But the other version, I can't remember if it's disc or the digital version, is in like this end game dungeon with like all these low level monsters. So they put you in this dungeon that almost no one will see from the actual game except for like the really hardcore players. And then they just put like a bunch of low level monsters in there for you to run around and mess around with. So it's kind of interesting.